Tell me a little bit about how hard did you go at, okay, now I want to take all this stuff and put it in real estate? Did you stick to that 10% rule? What was the advice flying around you during that time when you had this big investment that like definitely veered towards real estate and telling you to do this? And then you also had your previous kind of like infrastructure around it. How did you think about it?
Okay, so 100% of mine was in stock. And he kept asking me, how aggressive do you want to be? And I said, well, let's be very aggressive. So mine built up to, say, $1 million. I said, okay, I want to take half of that out and buy 5 houses. In 2019, I was able to pay $160,000 for the first house in JWB. And then I said, okay, I want to leverage that one that I purchased in that same solo 401k into getting a non-recourse loan for the other four. And they said, okay, you need 50% down. And I said, well, I'm not going to tap into that $500,000 that I didn't use for putting in the investment. I want to keep it under that and still have reserves.
Mhm.
So they said, okay, we'll let you do 4 houses at 40%. So I was able to pay 62,500 for each house, and they put down 99,500 for or whatever
Nice.
the number was,
Nice.
because it was $155,000 houses. So I bought 4 houses and leveraged the fact that I had one that was paid for to get them to give it to me at 40%.
Yeah. So you had taken that retirement that you had built up through working, and you
Yes.
said, I'm going to keep it in this, I don't know, boundary of retirement. And then within that, I'm going to buy houses and so that I keep the tax deferred status.
More or
right?
less, yes.
You didn't pull it out and pay the taxes on it and the penalty.
No.
You kept it in there and were able to use these techniques to buy houses within your retirement
Yes,
account.
I had to put it into an escrow account.
Right.
And then, so it stayed.
One of
in
many
a-
ways.
It stayed in a 401k,
Yeah.
more or less, so I
Yes.
didn't pay taxes on that.
Right.
I didn't get penalized on it.
You were able to keep it at 50% of that pie. You were able to keep
40
it within that boundary of 50% of that retirement pie that you had.
Yes, and still had reserves. I still was able to have reserves. And then James
Within the
was not
50%,
touched.
you had the down payments, the cash house, and the reserves.
Yes,
Interesting.
So I think
Cool.
that's an important point.
Yeah.
Like your wife Jane has her own 401k or retirement plan,
Right.
which is significant sized as well. And that stayed in diversified market investments. And then Lee's portfolio, he took what, half of that you just said?
I was like, okay, let me see where this is going to go and see how it works out.
Yeah.
And that's turned out to
I
be
think
wonderful.
that's wise
Yeah.
too. Like, think about that. You had the education, you had the starting point. You said, okay, here's what we're going to carve out
Right.
to start. And then it worked well. You saw the results, you kept going, and you were able to take advantage of low interest rates and
Right.
those types of techniques that you used. Yeah.
Yeah. So my half of my portfolio surpassed what I was able to get in the stock market in that same amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. And I was aggressive
Yeah.
in my stocks. I said, hey, let's not change that.
Yeah.
Right. So he was like, that's cool.
Because of the home price appreciation, because of the
Yeah.
prices you were able, well, that I just said home price appreciation, but the interest rates that you were able to get in, and then you sort of were able
Principal
to.
pay
the
down.
principal
I
pay
did
down. Yeah.
refinance, right?
Yeah.
So that I went from $80 a month cash flow to $250 a month
Nice.
cash flow.
Nice.
And the one house was paid down so I only had like a $15,000 loan on that second house.
Yeah.
So one is paid down 150,000. One is I only owe 15.
Nice.